Hello friends, how are you? I hope all of you are good and doing great. So in this particular video, we are talking about Hugging Face, Gradio, both, and how you can deploy your, how you can generate a model and deploy your models or you can generate a machine learning example or anything in Hugging Face, and you can use it for any POC or production purpose if required. I have already said that how what all things we can do it in Hugging Face before. Means you can create your, you can you can see that I have done some fine tuning and upload one of the model, fine tuned model, Mistral fine tuned model. I have done some changes and I've fine tuned and do that. I have also deployed few of the demos in here. So these are sleeping, but one of my demo is already running, but this is currently private. I'll make it public very soon. uh, so just say that this is one of example. I'll also demonstrate that how it has to be deployed and how we have to, what we have done, this how I have done. This is again in the Gradio. So it just submit and it will give. So all the files are also available here. You can see that deployment. So this is all we are going to talk about today. So let's see, because I already have one of the notebook where I have already done this EDA part and creating some initial modeling part. Creation is already done, like until creation of Pickle file. So yeah, let me start this with this one. I'll upload a notebook, browse, and in my repos, or I can do what I can do. I can file upload. I already have it in my this. Okay, not happening this way. Go to, so, so I'll quickly go through with this steps what I have done. So it's basically simple machine learning model of with the data of machine learning failure. So let's complete it faster way. If you need to go through these each steps of this modeling, it's already explained it here. I'll commit this one as there. So it's just our data sets is loaded. I have loaded the data set. I gave the name it as machine learning. Already target is machine failure basically, and this is our numerical features and categorical features. I have mentioned about this all the features, like what in what conditions, what air temperature, and what rotation speed the machine chances of the failure would be there. This is in a nutshell. This is about this data. So there we have the, if we have the data, this is about the this describe the data, means we have the means count, how much is the data. So the total data count is around 10,000 rows are there, and means is basically of the air temperature, mean is 300, and standard deviation is 2 points, and minimum is 295, and this is the 298 is coming in the min, and 300 is 50%, and 301 is basically, these are the air temperatures, minimum and maximum, and pressure, process temperature, rotation speeds, everything is mentioned here. So let me quickly do that all this. So these are the features described that for the categorical, that was the numerical variables. and this is about the total row count, so it's as 1000. So 0 is fine and 1 is failure, so 339 is the failure count. So we have divided the data into for the divide target and numerical plus categorical categorical features. Now I have, since I have only using sklearn in this whole exercise, so that's the only thing we are using it and taking help from it, and we are just creating a pipeline now. It basically, since you can create a pipeline in this model itself, in this Google Colab itself or any notebook feature, and then this is, it is representing, I have done this fitting that I'm using for numeric features, I'm using standard scalar. For categorical variables, I'm using a one hot encoder, and this is, I'm fitting up my pipeline, creating a pipeline and then fitting it up. uh, so this all data is done. Now evaluation is there. So what is the accuracy and print? So this is the classification report, how it is after fit. The predict, I'm predicting the test, so that fit is done on the trained data, and now I'm just predicting my uh, test data, and then printing the report. So accuracy is basically macro weightage and average and weightage average is there. So my accuracy f1 score is 97, weightage is like this, and then 0 is 98 of accuracy, 1 is 67%. So this is the precision, and then hyper tuning. Again I'm doing that hyper tuning and all. So I'm just fitting it up in logistic regression, this one. So again I'm creating the pipeline for this. So random search CV, and then here again I'm just creating a best estimator, and then I found the best score is 96%, basically almost 97%. So now, since this is all, I think every machine learning uh, data engineer will do as part of their EDA. So now it's, everything is done. Now I know that my, this is my best fit model, and I know that it is working fine. So now what I have to do, I have to just serialize this. Serializing means I'm just, if you see here, currently I don't have any file. So I'm just checking my scikit-learn version and all these things here, license, scikit-learn homepage, and everything here. So data, basically dataset also we are using from the scikit-learn only. If you see that dataset is going up, and we are taking it from directly. So there is no directly anything. It's very small kind of a POCs kind of a work. So this is my train.py file code. Everything whatever I have done and above, I am doing it here. So this is, I'm just, again I'm just dividing my data into target, numerical features and categorical features, printing that, creating a subsets, like dividing x and y variable, and putting up that x and y variable test size is 20%, and then random state is 42. So this is, I'm putting up in x train, y train, and x test and y test. So again I'm just same thing, I'm creating a preprocessor for standard scalars I'm using for numerical features, one hat encoder I'm using for categorical features. Creating a logistic regression again, and uh, putting everything in the random search CV algorithm, and fitting it up in that, and I'm getting this everything done, getting my score accuracy, and creating after at the end, I'm just creating my model here and saving this model. So this is what I'm doing it here. Let me do that. So you can see that my train.py file is created. If I'll execute this train.py file, so I'll get my best results. Its accuracy is 96% and everything. So I have already uploaded my data and all these things. So this is not only the one project, I'll do a multiple projects on based of this. So I'll save this model here as well. So if, and then save the model. So you can see that my model is also saved. And if I, based on my model, I'm just, for my text test data, I'm just doing it. Additionally, I have also created my app.py file for doing the Gradio deployment. So in this, I'm using, since I am planning to use Hugging Face, so I have explained this later about this creating a log file and all. So let me see that what I'm doing. I'm using a job lib folder and putting up all these inputs are there. Air temperature, temperature, rotational speed, torque input, and then and tool wear and type and everything. And label of this application is basically machine failure and predicted machine failure. This is my all my values. This is the function which basically do the prediction based on my model, this model, and it will do. So this is about this again. This is basically a logging in which I am creating a data sets. Suppose data sets, I'll talk again later and I'll also show you. But in a nutshell, it's basically whatever data users will enter, and in the future if I'll have to train further again in future for after 1 month or 2 months, depends on the users, or after a week or something, then we can train it again based on the data entered by the users or entered by the users, and it is, they can fit it. Okay, this is the data, and uh, we can train it based on the new data, so that we can again fine tune or rectify the issues, and we can again if suppose today's random search CV is working, and in future if there is another algorithm is working, we can use it. So I have this one, so let me create this code. One second, let me check this one, why it is giving this error. One second, train.py. Okay, so this file should have 2%. Yeah. So I have everything ready. If I see, I have this files here. So now my files are up there, and I just need these files to download, and basically let's see if this way it works. It doesn't work this way. I need to download these files. Okay, and model file. So I'll download these files. So my, this is this and this is there. I'll copy paste. I just move these files here. And what is the other file? Go to my model file again here. Model file is also. So now as I have all my files here, just let me rename because the name is not correct. So first what I'll do, I'll run this application in my local, and then I'll run it in my, yeah, and then any other file. One second, there should be one more file for the requirement. This file, I think this one I have forgot to execute. So this basically nothing, it basically creating a requirements files. So if you'll see this one, it's just nothing but it's a requirement.txt. This one, I'll also download this file. So there are 4 files which I got directly from my Google Colab by executing Google Colab. Yeah, again I'll rename this one. So for deploy this everything in Hugging Face, we need only this much. However, if I have to execute this in my local, I need to have some additional files. Since I need this all these files in Hugging Face, job lib, Gradio, there is no need for me to, and Hugging Face and other files, there is no need for me to specifically mention, or additionally I need to add that files to, so that it will install it in there, required to be there. But in case of local, I really need some files to be additionally add here. Let me do it. I need the job lib and requirement.txt, and then another one is Hugging Face. And local, I don't need any code related to Hugging Face. It could be work, but I let me comment this one, because the use of this is in the Hugging Face, not in here in a local. So I just commit this files which is not required, like logging and Hugging Face related, and a scheduler code. So every 2 minutes there is a scheduler in Hugging Face, it will run and put the logs of the data entered by the users inside this commented out this code. So everything is commented out, and I have job lib, and what else is required? Gradio is required. Let's see if anything else is required. Job lib, Gradio, and pandas. So now fine. In local, you should have a conda in your system to installed, whichever system you are using. It's either Windows or in Mac. So since I'm using Mac, so for me it is not required to having that thing here. Okay, now if I'll say that Anaconda, if you know, it's very easy to install and you can install it in your respective systems. So it's a free to download and you can sign in as well, no issues. Once that environment is there, you can use condas environment and create the condas environment in your local. Yeah, so clear it. Now I have already have, this is mainly I'm using in every code. So let me create how to run it. Basically I have to create one conda environment. If you use P, it will be basically create the conda environment files here itself, and if it's N, it will be in the default folder of the conda. So once you will have a conda install, I'll just using it to create this, my environment will be created. So if you are using N, or instead of P, if you are using N, you can directly say conda activate then in your environment. If you are using another way of doing it, means this way in a local, then in my Mac I have to do source activate and then machine learning. So since my environment is, I am switched to my new environment, I have to install my pip install requirements. Pip install minus -r and then requirements.txt. So let's see, it should work. All the libraries should be installed. So I have all my files here and should be work. Once this will be work, I know that my code is working, I can directly go and install everything, or I can provision these files and I can do that deployment things in Hugging Face as well. So for that you should have a Hugging Face account, and Hugging Face, once you will have the Hugging Face account, you can do that. So since my everything is done, now I'll run this python.py file. Let's hope everything is fine. Everything works fine, then I'll have everything ready. So now my code is deployed and ready, copied my code, everything in here. I already commented out my model, everything is there. Now let me start and running that application, and all the requirements I have also installed. Now I am starting the bash because this is looks very long in this shell. So I am using bash here. I'm just using python space app.py. I hope everything should work fine now. Yeah, and then opening this application, I'll put something. Air temperature is 30, process environment 30, rotational speed says 333, and this one also I'll say for 30 to wear tool wear is 30 minutes, and then this one is minimum. So it is giving me the answer as 0. Similarly I can do for others as well. Any values I'll put and it is working fine in my local. So once it is working in my local, what I'll do, I'll go to my Hugging Face. I already have the models installed over here. Um, so what I'll do, I'll just delete my, or I'll create another space for, I'll say create one more space, ML failure demo prediction, basically prediction demo. I can use anything. Apache is a free of thing. Gradio, this everything is same. Make it public, create space. Configuration error. Now we are getting this error. I was getting this error. So what I have, so what I'll do, I have resolved this issue of this one. Let me delete and do it from scratch, so that you will also understand if the error comes again. So creating a new space, I'll name it as ML space and choosing as MIT, anything you can choose, and then create a space if I am getting this spot. So no need to worry now, because I understand that what is the issue. Somehow it is not creating my configuration properly. However, I know how to resolve this issue in the readme file. So I already have this much of readme file and get attribute file. So seems that get attribute files is created correctly, but readme files having issue. Readme file is basically, it's a metadata about the complete space and what all things you needed in the from your Gradio from Hugging Space is giving that. So what I'll do, I have already running some spaces over here. This is my old one for the machine learning. I copied this, the complete end-to-end metadata things, readme files thing, and going to my new space, ml space, and say this file as edit. So it is good that this kind of issues are coming in front of while I'm preparing, while I'm doing this thing. So it is, everyone is getting that okay, what is the issue and how it is. So this much I have already done. I've just copy pasted the readme file content from my another space. I just commit this, just keep it my name as ml space, and rest everything I have updated, copy pasted. So now my space is there. If you'll go click here, now I can see this is how it works. So if I'll say that copy paste and create some app file, it will work fine. So here I'm not going to do that. I'm just uploading my files and then add files, upload files, and I am already pointing to my files over there. So these 4 files I need for my deployment. I have already. So now there are small changes required in the requirement.txt file, because I don't need these 2 files, and commit this again. Gradio and joblib is inbuilt. So since I have, once I'll in Hugging Face, once it will find that app.py files is there are some changes, it will immediately start executing the deployment process. So it's provisioning in a container or Docker or something like that. I know that it's contain it's a Docker. It's provisioning a Docker and building it up. This the complete one, starting and all. So build is already done, seems no issues. Done. Everything is done. My Docker is already done. So you can see that what all things it's executed for. It's a simple Docker file which is executed, and it's whenever as any files is comes, it's fine. So now it's just starting my server. If the server is getting starts without any issues, I'll be able to see my application running. Just wait for a while. I hope everything works fine without any issues. Yeah. So my application is running, seems without any issues. Go to my app. I can see that everything is fine. So it's fine, completely fine. Now my model is deployed. I have deployed in my local. I have also deployed it in Hugging Space, as well as now the thing is this one part is remaining in this app.py file. I have commented this path. So what I'll do it here, I'll create one data set. Here I have deleted for well, since I was getting an issue. So just let's see if it's also creates. Dataset has been created without any issues. Now in my hugging face, I'll go to my settings of the Hugging Face. I have the access token. I have a read and write. So I need a write access token copied, Hugging Face access token. I go to my space, and inside my space in settings, to go down, and inside this secrets I have to create a new secret, hf underscore token, and then give the value as my Hugging Face token. So yeah, so this is the token I have created. My token is created, everything is done, fine. Now I'll go to my files and uncomment these files. Lines of code, edit. So this is basically first, it is creating, taking the UI ID and creating a simple log file, and this is basically a log file also, putting it up into, or adding the log files data in the this logger file, which is in the data set. And this is the scheduler, runs in every 2 minutes. Oops, sorry, uncomment this one and put the data in the in that data set. So we have the limit of 8 concurrent users. I can increase it to 16 as well. So it is running every 2 minutes, the scheduler, and putting up the files. So what I'll do, I'll go to my app again. It's restarting since I've changed the code in the app.py file. Build is done, I hope, without any issues. If the build is done, I believe the container will be in, there'll be no issues in the, so it is so fast currently, and you can see that it's running in a public, so that you can share this public URL to anyone. If you want to do it inference and evaluate, or the rest of the pipelines related things in this, with this model, you can do that as well. So application is running. Oops. Okay, my Hugging Face space. Say that I'll give 32, 32, 333222, 23, 22, and type is high. It is giving 0. I'll add one more, 31, 31, 223, 22, 33, this one, submitted. So I have already submitted. I'm not sure if it is there or not. Let's see and check my data sets. If there'll be any issues or something, you will find the error. So let's wait for a few minutes. I believe the data will come. I can show that the data for some other one. So suppose I'll have a data sets for my other application, which is this one. You can see that this data is look like this. You can see the, and you can train the your data in a future with this. So I already trained with 2.2k rows with this, for this data. So you can see that I have already done this with this a lot. I hope done with this video, and I think this tutorial. I hope you like it. If you like it, please share it, subscribe it, and share my video for the relevant reach. Let's see. Yeah, the data, you can see that whatever data I have entered here, you can see the data is for machine learning failure as well. Thank you everyone. Thanks for